What's going on, everyone? I'm the OPJellicent, and we are team building for week number 3 of the ICBA. Going up against the Los Angeles Lickers coached by Jarrett. You can see the 6 Pokemon that we are bringing over on the top of your screen, and you can see the 11 Pokemon that he has the potential to bring over on the right. So the match will be up tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern in case you guys do want to tune in, but pretty much this is probably one of the hardest matches that I've ever had to prep for because Pheromosa has coverage for my entire team, and that alongside with a ton of other threats such as Mew, Hydreigon, Mega Pinsir, and Lycanroc Day made it so that I couldn't really bring any bulk, but let's focus on all of that when I go over my team after we go over his 11 Pokemon. So starting off, we have the Pheromosa. I'm almost positive this will come. It is the biggest threat to my team. I'm assuming it'll either be Choice Scarf to outspeed my Kyurem Black and Flygon, both very potential Scarfers, or he could also run like a Life Orb or Expert Belt 4 attack set, since it does carry coverage for my entire team. If he might be fearing Sticky Webs though with that kind of idea, because if I do get up Webs, I do outspeed it with quite a bit, such as my Entei, Flygon, Kyurem Black, Greninja, all of that, so I think Scarf is a lot more likely, but he could go with the Life Orb E-Belt route if he really wants to. Next up, he has the Mew. Very unpredictable Mon. It gets pretty much any coverage you can think of, and it is one of his offensive Z-move users. So he could just run like a defensive Will-O-Wisp set, but it could also be like a double dance set with Nasty Plot and Rock Polish. He has the Hydreigon, which alongside Pheromosa is one of his 2 ways of threatening Necrozma, so we definitely do have to be careful about that. We do have Prism Armor though, so we can take one Dark Pulse no matter what. But it could be Scarf. It won't outspeed Scarf Flygon, but it will outspeed Scarf Kyurem Black. But so he might not Scarf that thing. He might just run a more offensive variant. I'm really expecting Scarf Pheromosa and then like a Life Orb or Expert Belt Hydreigon. He has the Arcanine, which I'm kind of hoping either he doesn't bring or he doesn't bring a defensive set, because one of the ways I'm trying to win this game this week is with Mega Mawile, and if he brings a defensive set and gets the Intimidated off, we actually, it could be a little bit of a struggle. He also has the Primarina. I don't think Primarina will come. It is pretty strong, and it can switch into stuff like Entei, but we have quite a few ways to threaten that between Kyurem Black with Fusion Bolt, Greninja with potential Gunk Shot, and it's not very fast either, so under Sticky Webs, if he's expecting that, stuff like Mega Mawile could outspeed it, and I don't know, he could bring it as just like a nice wall breaker, but I don't see it. He has the Doublade, really annoying Mon, very nice defense stat on that thing, but we can exploit that really bad spit F stat with stuff like Earth Power on Kyurem Black, and despite the very big defense stat, Entei can actually break through that if that's what he's expecting to come. Next up, we have the Lycanroc Day, which is also another offensive Z-move user. It could be like a Sash lead set. We do have our own Sash lead this week to try to counter that thing, but other than that, it could be like a banded Accelerock set. I believe all 3 of them get Accelerock. I'll have to double check, but if it doesn't, then it still gets priority in Sucker Punch, so I don't know, it'll be interesting. He has the Rotom Mow, could definitely be a potential Choice Scarf Volt Switch user, but it's threatened by so much of my team between Kyurem Black, Entei, and Greninja with Ice Beam. I don't really see Rotom Mow coming. Bouffalant, it's very slow, but we actually don't switch into normal type moves very well. I actually don't think we have a single resist on our team, so maybe Scarf Bouffalant can come, but we outspeed it with Greninja either way, and if we get up Sticky Webs, it's not going to outspeed anything otherwise. Piloswine, it's a really great Flygon response, and it can also switch into Mega Mawile if it's really not expecting me to pack Iron Head, which, spoilers, I'm not, but other than that, it's just going to be like a bulky Stealth Rock setter. And then finally, Mega Pinsir, which is probably the second biggest threat to my team, because our only flying resists are Mega Mawile, which doesn't want to take Earthquake anyway, and since it has such a great defensive stat, Sucker Punch is not even going to knock that thing out, and Rotom Fan, which is 2-hit KO'd regardless, and obviously Electros could be a Fizz Def set, but it doesn't deal well against the rest of his team at all, so that's the 11 Pokemon he has the potential to bring. If I had to choose 6, I would definitely go with Pheromosa, Mew, Hydreigon, Defensive Arcanine, Mega Pinsir, and Lycanroc Day, but he could try to mix in some stuff like Primarina, maybe Doublade, and even the Rotom Mow if he wants to run like a Scarf set with that, but I'm really not expecting Bouffalant or Piloswine, so with all that said, let's go ahead and get into the 6 Pokemon that we are bringing this week. Alright, so up first we have our Sash lead Greninja right here. Pretty much we have enough speed on here to outspeed max speed Lycanroc Day. And pretty much we have Water Shuriken because I did check and the Lycanroc Day does get access to Accelerock, so pretty much if I lead this and I click Taunt to prevent his rocks, but he's Stone Edge's turn 1, then he can actually try to outspeed me and go right for a Accelerock, so Water Shuriken is there to out-prioritize that in case that whole scenario goes bad. But other than that, max special attack just to make sure that if we do get 4 hits, we do OHKO a Lycanroc Day, and 76 attack on there for our Gunk Shot, which ensures the 2-hit KO on defensive Primarina. But really the main idea with this is to prevent hazards on his side and get up our own spikes, because a lot of the calcs that I did this week are based on having hazards up, so stuff like our win conditions, as you guys will see, do require hazards up to try to get those OHKOs. So that's the whole idea with Greninja right here. Lead with it, get up spikes if we can, prevent any sort of hazards on his side. And he could try to anti-lead me with like a taunt Pheromosa, but that would be super risky because if I did attack turn 1, I would just OHKO that thing right away. So I don't think he'll opt to go that route. I think he'll either bring a Sash Lead Lycanroc Day, or he just won't bring an anti-lead at all. But let's go ahead and move on to probably the most instrumental mon in winning this match, which is our Necrozma. Alright, next up we have our Necrozma right here, and I'm really excited to see if this works out this week. We are bringing the Trick Room for the first time, and pretty much we have 2 Trick Room win conditions on this team, as you will see with our Mega Mawile and our Kyurem Black, but we have the Tanga Berry on there just to make sure that we can take a hit from Pheromosa, since with Prism Armor we can take any hit from Hydreigon even if it is choice specs, but Pheromosa is obviously the bigger problem. So the idea is we get up our Trick Room, and then we can switch in Mega Mawile on Pheromosa no matter what, since we do take a Focus Blast at that thing and just get a few kills with that mon. So hopefully that whole scenario can work out, but other than that, as Chimpek says, we do need to run Photon Geyser, because if you're running a Resist Berry, you do need to obviously have a move that hits the Pokemon that you are running the Resist Berry for. But other than that, we have Power Gem, because say he wants to respond to this with like a defensive Arcanine. Since Arcanine is the biggest response to my Mega Mawile, which can definitely clean this game, Power Gem can hit that, as well as the Mega Pinsir, which we do definitely take a hit from. So that's the whole thing that we have going on with Necrozma right here. Pretty much the moment I get up Trick Room, I'm hard switching out into one of my Trick Room sweepers, since I can't afford to waste any Trick Room turns. So that's the idea with Necrozma, and let's go ahead and move on to the first of our 2 Trick Room win conditions, which is our Mega Mawile. Alright, so we have our first Trick Room win condition right here, which is our Mega Mawile. We're running a 4 attacks variant with Play Rough, Knock Off, Ice Punch, and Stone Edge. We're opting to not go with any sort of priority this week with Sucker Punch, just because the idea is to get this thing under Trick Room. So Stone Edge does actually 2-hit KO defensive Arcanine even with the Intimidate, so we have Max Attack Adamant on there, so Knock Off plus Stone Edge can get rid of that mon. But other than that, it also hits the Mega Pinsir very well, and Play Rough pretty much hits everything else on his team aside from the Doublade, which we do have knockoff for. So at the moment we got up Trick Room, we're probably going to hard switch into this first and try to go for game with this, because it is probably a much bigger threat to his team than the Kyurem Black, since we do have coverage for everything. We have max HP on here just because we didn't really need to invest into any sort of defenses to specifically hit any barriers, so max HP was just the best all-around option to try to make sure that we are as bulky as possible. And then we have the last 4 in defense right there to help out against any random priority attacks. Accelerock from the Lycanroc Day, Quick Attack from the Mega Pinsir, but we do resist Mega Pinsir, so the main mons that we can bring this thing in on are Pheromosa, since we do take any sort of attack, even like a Focus Blast, as well as the Mega Pinsir, Lycanroc Day, and we are running Intimidate, so we can't even bring it on something like the Doublade if you really feel like it. So hopefully this thing can put in a ton of work this week. I'm really excited to see how it does. And let's go ahead and move on to our second Trick Room win condition in our Kyurem Black. Alright, next up we have our Kyurem Black right here. And pretty much this is our second Trick Room win condition. Now the reason why I said Mega Mawile was a much bigger threat under Trick Room is because while Kyurem Black can accomplish the same task of breaking through his team, it's a lot more prediction heavy. So pretty much I have to predict if he's going into Primarina, I can't click Z Freeze Shock, I have to click Fusion Bolt. If he's going into Doublade, I have to predict that and go for Earth Power. So I'm definitely going to try to predict around his team with this mon, but we are running an ICMZ set to make sure that we can OHKO any sort of Mew. And we do also deal with any sort of Piloswine, so that's really nice. Draco Meteor is right there because, say we want to OHKO something like our defensive Arcanine, because Earth Power is actually not as strong as Draco Meteor, despite the fact that it's super effective. We do have that as an option, but even with the special attack drop, we should be able to deal with the rest of his team because we have physical attacks. So while we do only have 1 turn to use an ice move, Fusion Bolt is a really strong physical attack that can pretty much deal with everything else that it needs to, such as the Lycanroc if we've taken a special attack drop, the Pheromosa, the Mega Pinsir, the Bouffalant, and the Primarina. So hopefully Kyurem Black can do quite a bit of work. We're running 108 in special attack just because we do want our Earth Power to 2-hit KO a defensive Arcanine, and then the rest is in HP. So that is going to be our Kieran Black this week, and let's go ahead and move on to our second dragon type, which is our Flygon. Alright, next up we have our Flygon right here, which is our first of 2 win conditions outside of Trick Room. I figured I didn't want to be completely reliant on Trick Room this week, just in case our Necrozma did somehow end up dying, say by getting Dark Pulse flinched down by the Hydreigon, so this is one of our fail-safe win conditions in case Kieran Black plus Mega Mawile does not work out. We have a Dragon Dance Lumberry Flygon right here. Thankfully I did get access to Dragon Dance in the 7th generation, but pretty much after a Dragon Dance we do 2-hit KO defensive me with the Crunch, and thankfully due to our Lumberry, even if he tries to Will-O-Wisp me, that won't help him and we can knock it out the next turn, but really the main thing that's going to stop this is any sort of Choice Scarf mon, say Choice Scarf Pheromosa, is the main one right there, but he also does have quite a bit of threatening priority. He actually has a ton of priority between Quick Attack Mega Pinsir, Accelerock / Sucker Punch on Lycanroc Day, and Shadow Sneak on Doublade, but we do 2-hit KO any Doublade variant with +1 Earthquake with the spread since we do have max attack, and we are just running max speed Jolly to make sure that we can speed time Mew if we do need to do that, but yeah, as I said, this is pretty much just going to be a fail-safe in case the Trick Room does not work out. And let's go ahead and move on to our last win condition outside of Trick Room and our last Pokemon that we are bringing this week. Alright, and the final Pokemon that we are bringing this week is our Gorbis. We're bringing a Focus Sash Cell Smash set, and pretty much the idea is, after we get off a Cell Smash, we actually outspeed max speed Pheromosa, which I was actually very surprised to see because Pheromosa is base 151. And we are base 52, so that's pretty interesting, but we do outspeed with 244 speed investment, but we have max special attack and the last 12 in defense in case we do need to survive any sort of priority attack, since Gorbis actually doesn't have terrible defense, but we're running a Hydro Pump, which hopefully we won't miss, because I do want to 2-hit KO the Mew. Ice Beam is there for stuff like Hydreigon, and then finally, we're running Hidden Power Electric over Hidden Power Grass, because I don't want to give Bouffalant any sort of Sap Super Boost, but we OHKO the Piloswine with Hydro Pump anyway, so even if he switches that thing in on a Hidden Power Electric, which I don't think he will, because Hidden Power Grass does have potential, we can OHKO that thing anyway, but really this thing is threatened by a ton of priority attacks, so I don't really see it winning the game, but say he doesn't bring a lot of his priority, say he doesn't bring like Doublade or Lycanroc Day, and his only priority is Mega Pinsir, then we can actually potentially sweep with this thing, but really, this is kind of a failsafe, as I said, since I don't want to be completely reliant on Trick Room, but that is going to be the team that we are bringing this week. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. I personally think this could go either way. We could potentially just sweep with our Trick Room sweepers, or he could just completely destroy me with Pheromosa. It'll be interesting, but the match will be up tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, in case you guys do want to tune in, and I'll see you guys then. Later.